Hello dear friends, welcome to a new chapter from the English course book for plus 2. It is from the very first unit, Flights of Freedom. Hope you remember the common theme? Yes, it is women empowerment. In fact, we have done 2 chapters before. The first one was a brilliant speech, 3 L's of Empowerment by Christine Lagarde. And the second one was a touching poem, Any Woman, penned by Catherine Tynan. Now, let's go over to the third one. The title is HOREGALLU. It is an anecdote from the life of the popular Indian English writer and social worker Sudha Murty. HOREGALLU depicts a few of her memories. The first one is from her childhood days, and the second one when she grew up and became a young woman. The entry quote to the chapter is a few lines from the American poet Elizabeth Aker Allen's poem, Rock Me to Sleep. It goes like this: backward, turn backward, O time, in your flight, make me a child just for tonight. Beautiful lines, isn't it so? Every one of us would love memories. Don't you? Why not? We all love memories. We love taking on a flight, going in the air, floating in the air, into the good old days when we were small kids. We were leading innocent lives with our pranks and mischiefs. We are familiar with so many quotes on memories. Here is one. Life brings us tears, smiles, and memories. Tears dry, smiles fade, but memories last forever. The world famous Palestinian poet and writer Khalil Gibran has these words on memories. Yesterday is today's memory, and tomorrow is today's dreams. Okay, try to collect similar quotes about memories, the quotes especially by great writers and thinkers. Hope you would do so. I'm quite sure all of us Malayalis would love this beautiful nostalgic song, in fact a poem written by our own O.N.V. Kuruttu. It begins with Oru Vattam Koodi. Let me try singing it, but remember I'm not a good singer, but excuse me if you don't love it, but don't run away. Just stay here. ഒരു വട്ടം കൂടി എന്നോർമകൾ മേയുന്ന തിരുമുറ്റത്തെത്തുവാൻ മോഹം, തിരുമുറ്റത്തൊരു കോണിൽ നിൽക്കുന്നൊരാ നെല്ലി മരമൊന്നൂലുത്തുവാൻ മോഹം, മരമൊന്നൂലുത്തുവാൻ മോഹം. അടരുന്ന കായ്മണികൾ പൊഴിയുമ്പോൾ ചെന്നെടുത്ത് അതിലൊന്ന് തിന്നുവാൻ മോഹം, സുഖമെഴും കയ്പും പുളിപ്പും മധുരവും നുകരുവാനിപ്പോഴും മോഹം. തൊടിയിലെ കിണർ വെള്ളം കോരി കുടിച്ച് എന്തു മധുരമെന്നോതുവാൻ മോഹം. Okay, that's it. how beautifully O.N.V. Kurup explains a memory of his own childhood. And in fact, even we are transported into our school days, especially we were doing the primary class. This song takes us on a flight to an old elementary school courtyard where the poet studied many years back. Are you ready for a flight? Shall we go on a flight to the same courtyard? Ready? Yes, go on. Close your eyes. Imagine you are flying, floating, and finally landing at the same courtyard. Look there at the corner. Don't you see a gooseberry there? Full of gooseberries. Go near it. Hold on to the tree. Shake it violently. What happens? Don't you see gooseberries falling down, tumbling down everywhere? Pick up one. Put it in your mouth. Chew it. How about it? Bitter at first? Sour? Okay, never mind. There is water there at the old well. Let us take 1 or 2 sips of water. Okay. After taking the water, how do you feel? Now the taste, the bitter and the sour taste are gone. They have given way to the sweet taste. Memories are a mixed bag of varying tastes. There is bitterness, there is sour taste, there is sweetness, everything put together. Whatever, memories are dear to us. That's why we are prone to say, "Ormagal kendu sugandham." The anecdote HOREGALLU is authored by Sudha Murty. Sudha Murty was born in 1950 at Shigaon in North Karnataka. An M.Tech in computer science, she teaches computer science to postgraduate students. A prolific writer in English and Kannada, she has written novels, technical books, travelogues, collections of short stories and non-fiction pieces. HOREGALLU is taken from The Old Man and His Gourd, Discovering the Spirit of India, published in 2006 by Penguin Books, New Delhi. Mrs. Sudha Murty is the co-founder of the #1 IT firm in India, Infosys, along with her husband, Narayan Murty. She is the chairperson of Infosys Foundation, a great social worker. She has founded many orphanages, supports rural development projects, and also the Karnataka government to computerize and establish libraries in schools. She has won many awards. I hope you will go through the profile of Sudha Murty and learn more about her contributions to the society. Anyhow, we know that she is an empowered woman, no doubt about it. Now, dear friends, let's go straight into the chapter HOREGALLU. Okay, I hope you will keep your textbooks open so that you will be able to follow the lines I am reading out. All the while, keep your imagination, the doors of your imagination open so that you can get into the heart of the text. Let's go to the first few paragraphs. Hot summer days remind me of my childhood in a little village. There was a large banyan tree right in the middle of the village, and I would spend many hours playing under it during my holidays. The tree was like a massive umbrella with its branches providing much needed shade and succor. Travelers spent some time sitting under it and catching their breath before going on their way. To make them comfortable, there was a HOREGALLU under the tree. A HOREGALLU literally means a stone that can bear weight. It was a large, flat stone placed horizontally over two vertical ones, thus making a stone bench on which anyone could sit and rest a while, chat with a fellow traveler, and exchange news of the road. Cool water would be kept in earthen pots near the bench, and people could quench their thirst before starting their journeys again. I'm sure similar simple arrangements can be found in villages all over the country. The HOREGALLU in our village holds special memories for me as it is inextricably linked with my grandfather. He was a retired school teacher and would spend hours every day sitting under the banyan tree and talking to those resting there. When I would get tired of playing, I would sit next to him and observe the people he was speaking to and listen to their conversations. Most of them were villagers taking a break from their work in the fields nearby. They had to walk long distances each day, carrying heavy burdens on their heads. Tired out by the heat, they would drink the cool water, wash their faces with it, and chat with grandfather. Their conversation would be about their daily lives and worries. You have listened to the first 3 paragraphs of the anecdote HOREGALLU. By the way, what's an anecdote? Okay, an anecdote is an interesting, amusing story about a real incident or a person. Here, in this anecdote, Mrs. Sudha Murty talks about a few incidents, real life incidents from her own life in a very interesting way. So we may call it an anecdote. Let's take the first paragraph. What is its central idea, or what does the author speaks about in the first paragraph? Okay, it's about a HOREGALLU, which means a stone bench, which was placed under a huge banyan tree where little Sudha Murty in her childhood went to play during her holidays. So the central idea of the first paragraph is, okay, a stone bench, a HOREGALLU under a huge banyan tree where little Sudha went to play. Okay, why did I ask you about the central idea of a paragraph? So we have to learn something about a paragraph. A paragraph is a unit of expression. Okay, it's a small unit, especially in a large piece of writing like an essay, a short story, a novel, etc. While writing such lengthy write-ups, we divide them into smaller units, and each of these segment or unit is called a paragraph. A paragraph will have a central idea, one idea explained with details. So what do you do for understanding or comprehending a paragraph? We find out the central idea, right? So the central idea in this paragraph is a HOREGALLU where the author spent her childhood days, especially during vacation. The certain words from the paragraph, let's call them the less familiar words or the difficult words, relatively difficult words. In fact, there are 6 or 7 such words. Let us see one by one. The first one, HOREGALLU, I explained, a flat stone that can bear weight. So that's the direct meaning. It's a flat stone used to sit on, placed over two supporting stones. The next word is massive. A massive umbrella. Massive means a large and heavy something. Okay, something which is very large and heavy. Something that is exceptionally large. To catch one's breath is a phrase. To catch one's breath is a phrase. There are two meanings given. Let's take the second one which is more apt for this context. It means rest after an exercise to restore normal breathing. Okay, which means to take rest. Right? Next word could be literally. Literally, the word is an adjective. While explaining it, we have to understand that literal meaning. Words can have two types of meanings. Literal meaning and figurative meaning. Literal meaning means the usual, the real, the direct meaning of the word. While figurative meaning is imaginative meaning, where you use metaphoric usage, you use a lot of exaggeration. But in literal meaning, it's only the real meaning, the direct meaning, which is taken for granted. Another word is to carry, to bear. Bear means to carry, support, especially carry a weight. Another word is succor. It is noun. Succor means assistance or support in times of hardships, distress, etc. Another word is to quench. It's a verb which means to satisfy or to put an end to thirst by drinking water. There is another meaning for quenching. It is extinguishing fire. Right? So these are the difficult words in this paragraph. The first paragraph is all about Mrs. Sudhamurthy's memories associated with a HOREGALLU which was erected under a huge, a massive banyan tree. The banyan tree protected those who came to it like an umbrella from the heat of the sun. It provided them with shade and shelter. That's why the word succor is used. Right? The HOREGALLU was the destination of so many people who traveled that way, especially the travelers who went long distances and the farmers who came to work in the nearby fields. They came to this HOREGALLU, sat on them, took rest while they talked with each other. They shared their experiences of their journey, the news of the road. There was also water, cool water kept in earthen pots, pitchers, near to the HOREGALLU. They took the water, drank the cold water, felt relieved of the tiredness of the long, tiring journey. Okay, they also washed their faces with the cool water, which refreshed them for the journey to continue. So this HOREGALLU helped as a resting point or relieving point for the travelers. The travelers came to the HOREGALLU took rest, got relief from the tiredness, and they got refreshed. Thus, they continued their journey. The author Sudha says that similar simple arrangements can be found all over the country, especially during the past days. And that's true about our own state, Kerala. We have had such destinations, simple destinations, like almost exactly like this HOREGALLU. We call them Attanis, Kallattanis, because they were made of stones, where people came to sit, unload their burden on their heads. Okay, they took these heavy loads on their heads to long distances, especially to markets, to sell them there and buy a lot of things, essentials for their lives, come back and help the family. And it is from these Attanis we got so many place names like Attani, Attanikal, Randattani, etc. Right? Attanis had a great role in the lives of the villagers in the former days, even travelers, right? From this paragraph, we get a glance into the social life of the villagers during the past days. The ordinary villagers, they led a very simple life. They shared their experiences, their pains, struggles, strifes, problems, each other under these banyan trees, sitting on these HOREGALLUs. Okay, it was such a shared life, unlike the solitary, atomized life of today's. The second paragraph now. What is the central idea? Okay, it's about the author's grandfather. We get a beautiful image, a picture of the grandfather sitting on the HOREGALLU under this massive banyan tree, surrounded by villagers or travelers, all of them talking while grandfather listening to them. So we get a beautiful picture of a village experience of the past. Let's go over to the less familiar or difficult words. Just 3 words we'll talk about. The first one is inextricably. It's an adverb which means impossible to disentangle or separate. Something which is firmly connected. Next word is burden. It's a noun which means a load, typically a heavy one. Something which is difficult to carry. The third word is an adjective which is tired out. Tired out means extremely tired. So the second paragraph tells us about certain special memories of Sudha associated with the HOREGALLU. What are these special memories? In fact, there are 3 memories. The first one is, of course, her own grandfather. Grandfather was a retired school teacher who used to spend long hours on this HOREGALLU listening to the people who came there. He listened to them while these travelers and farmers talked or shared their problems of life with grandfather. The second piece of memory is the author herself. When she was a small child, she used to go there with grandfather. You get the picture of the author sitting, a small girl sitting next to her grandfather. And what she was doing, she was observing the people who came to talk with the grandfather, listening to what they were talking about, and the like. This is all very important, especially for a budding writer. For every one of us, we want to learn how the world is moving. What is the kind of life the people around us are leading? What are the problems faced by them? So we get an idea about all these things while observing and listening to these people. Then the third picture or the third idea is the topic of discussion. The little girl listened carefully to what they talked about. What was it that shared with the grandfather? Yes, it was the problems of their life. That talked about the cares and worries, etc. of their life. You can imagine why the grandfather listened to their problems and why did these people share their worries with grandfather. No doubt, this process would have relieved these people from their tensions. It could have acted as another HOREGALLU. The first one was physical, where they could sit and take rest. The second HOREGALLU was grandfather himself. With grandfather, they put down the weight of their lives, their minds, their hearts, and they got. In the third paragraph, the author, who was a small child, a very curious child, she wanted to find out the significance of this HOREGALLU. She listened to the things shared by these farmers with the grandfather. They were talking about their worries and problems of everyday life, no doubt. And father didn't talk. Grandpa never talked anything. He just listened to them. And they felt that this HOREGALLU was a blessed destination. They felt greatly thankful to this HOREGALLU. And the author couldn't understand why people felt that this was a blessed destination. And it was grandfather who explained to the little girl why it is so important. He says that a HOREGALLU is important because every one of us, every human being, carries a lot of burdens in their hearts, in their heads. They get tired of carrying these burdens, and sometimes they could not continue, so they have to put down their weights and take rest for a while. Okay, then only they will be getting enough energy to carry these loads once again and continue their journey. And now little Sudha understood why a HOREGALLU is so important in everyone's life.